All right, welcome in to the Glenwood Zaxby's Game of the Week here at the Glenwood Gymnasium tonight for the Gators versus the Lee Scott Academy Warriors varsity volleyball. Getting ready to square away. I got the chance to see this Glenwood team at Brookstone a couple weeks ago. Good physical-looking squad. Definitely physical at the net. It's going to be an exciting match. Lee Scott and Glenwood, heated rivals. Probably the biggest rival for Glenwood. And we're going to get set to get going. Georgia Alabama Sports Live brought to you by Coca-Cola, Kinetic Credit Union, Houston Clinic, and Glenn Smith Chevrolet. Emerson White coming into the game. Start things off. Got refs checking lineups over. Notice it's always a bit of a shuffle to get these games going in the beginning. So everybody gets their paperwork squared away. Loud crowd pop from the gym. Ref blows us into play. Here we go. Rory Dunbar with the serve. Lee Scott. Rory Dunbar with the set. Excellent drop shot by Glenwood. That was number 3, Hallie Palmore. She racked up a lot of points last time we seen her in action at Brookstone. Rory Dunbar with the serve again. Out. 1-1. Elliott Scott getting ready to serve for Lee Scott Academy. And it's up. Not quite a full dig there. Rory Dunbar was able to get it. Point Glenwood. 2-1. Hallie Palmore getting ready to serve for Glenwood. It's over. Excellent serve. Dove right to the court. Number 1, Laney Payne, not quite able to get there on the dig. 3-1 Glenwood. Out on Lee Scott. Had a bit of miscommunication there. Out on Lee Scott. Point Glenwood. 4-1 Glenwood. Hallie Palmore getting ready to serve another point. She's got a serve on her. Sky ball. Leighton Scott, a good little drop shot. Point Lee Scott Academy. Lee Scott Academy comes in this game 9-4 on this season. Pretty good year for them so far. Ranked 59th in the state. Glenwood coming in 5-9. But I've seen this team play. They've got some spice to them. Just got to let them get cooking. Rory Dunbar and Maddie Moody together. Great combination. Point Glenwood, Rory Dunbar there. 5-2 Glenwood. Emerson White getting ready to serve. And here we go. Good dig by Lee Scott. Setting it up. Good job getting it out of the net by Glenwood. That's 4 hits. Lee Scott hit 4 times. They couldn't play it off the net. Glenwood did an excellent job digging it out of the net. I saw 4 hits. I don't think we got Lee Scott's not in agreement. I thought I saw 4 hits. Ref meets at the side judge to check it out. I counted 4, but that was pretty fast-paced action right there. Referee still talking it over. They take the point back off for Glenwood. Trying to get the scoreboard squared away, and here we go. Emerson White getting ready to serve. Good serve, put it right on Lee Scott's chest. Rory Dunbar with the dig, Emerson White. Great job by Glenwood, playing aggressive on the nets, making Lee Scott stay up there and defend the net. Point Glenwood, they got that one back from the extra touch call that was wiped off. It's great serve by Emerson White. Set by Hallie Palmore. Out. Point Lee Scott. Some power on the spikes here. A little inaccurate so far tonight. Served by Lee Scott. Rory Dunbar with the dig. Rory Dunbar with another dig. She's all over. And couldn't get it over the net. That was Maddie Moody and Malia West Sanchez. Point Lee Scott, 6-4. Number 15 getting ready to serve for Lee Scott. That is Avery Dunham, a senior. Net ball. Point Glenwood. Glenwood remaining solid here in this first set. Got a sub coming in the game. Carson Barker getting in for Emma Barnes. Carson with the serve. Good serve. Died right out on the court there. Good job defending the net by Rory Dunbar and Maddie Moody. Can't tell which one it is. Excellent point by Glenwood. Great job defending the front of the net by Maddie Moody and Rory Dunbar combined. Great size at the front of the net. Glenwood doing an excellent job so far, 8-4. Lee Scott out. They just could not get the ball down. I don't know if it's a release point on the spike or what they got going on, but there is a slight case of the yips. Serve Glenwood out on Lee Scott on the return. 10-4 Glenwood. Glenwood putting it on them in this first set so far. Carson Barker with the serve. Ooh, nice little touch shot. Couldn't get it to fall, though. Good dig by Lee Scott up at the net. Maddie Moody, excellent job defending at the net. Her and Malia West Sanchez. Timeout, and we're going to take a timeout right here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Are you looking for a powerful new Chevrolet or GMC truck and a great deal? Check them out side by side at Glenn Smith in Opelika. Take your choice of new Chevrolet and GMC 1500 trucks discounted up to $12,000 off. Chevy and GMC heavy duty trucks discounted up to $7,000 off. People from all over the USA save at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika, Alabama. Get ready to smile.
And we're back. The Zaxby's Glenwood game of the week. Glenwood putting on a clinic so far in this first set. Carson Barker with the serve. Lee Scott trying to get on the board. Good shot by number 7 for Lee Scott, Olivia Gibson. 11-5 Lee Scott. Lee Scott trying to climb back in this first set. Nobody wants to drop the first one. Lee Scott with the serve. Been a while since we've seen him serve. Rory Dunbar with the set. And that's out on Lee Scott. Bounced off the scoring table. The WrestleMania looking scoring table here at Glenwood. Glenwood 12. Lee Scott 5. Claire Hargrove getting ready to serve. Excellent serve. Good thump on that. Right at the net. Lee Scott has to just dig it over. They couldn't set up the spike. Malia West Sanchez with a good attempt. Miscommunication at the front of the net for Lee Scott. Point Glenwood. Glenwood's came out very strong. I know this is a big game for Glenwood every year. Lee Scott, their biggest rival. Out on Lee Scott. Oh, they got that in. Correction, that is in. 13-6. Lee Scott. You got number 3, Sarah Carolyn Joyner checking out of the game, and number 11, Jody Fuller coming in for Lee Scott. Fuller serves. A lot of spin on that ball. Excellent job by Glenwood to get it over, and there's miscommunication by Lee Scott again. A little lost in the sauce there on that exchange. Glenwood on him early. Maddie Moody checking out of the game. Katie Corbett coming in. Here's Katie with a serve. Serves up. Wow, number 4, Leighton Scott with an excellent score. Died right over the other side of the net. They've closed it to 7. Lee Scott 7, Glenwood 14. Dig by Claire Hargrove, but nobody in the middle of the court. Rory Dunbar trying to make it over there. Point Lee Scott. I'd like to remind you again that the game is brought to you by Coca-Cola, Glenn Smith Chevrolet, Houston Clinic, and Kinetic Credit Union. There's a point to Lee Scott right there as the ball creamed out of bounds. 14-9 Glenwood in this first set. Lee Scott getting ready to serve. That was a heat-seeking missile. Glenwood able to get it out of there and get it over. They chase to take the 2 hits, Lee Scott does. Rory Dunbar sets it up. Out. Point Lee Scott. Bit of a cross-court attempt there. Went a little wide. Ball got a little air under it. Lee Scott with the point. Lee Scott serving again. Oh, excellent serve right over the top of the net. I mean, that's what you want to see. You don't want to see a lot of air under that thing. You want to see it dive right over the net. And, you know, it goes from flying through there to looking like a bowling ball. That's a good serve by Lee Scott. Did it again. Rory Dunbar with the set. A little wide. Malia West Sanchez drops it in. Excellent drop shot by her. Oh, I'm sorry. That's Claire Hargrove with the drop. Point Glenwood. Rory Dunbar getting ready to serve. Excellent serve. Very hard to return that. Lee Scott digs it out. Rory Dunbar again. My goodness, what a shot. Couldn't quite tell who that was through the net. Looked like either Claire Hargrove or Hallie Palmore again. Glenwood, Rory Dunbar getting ready to serve again. Point Glenwood, miscommunication on the Lee Scott side again. They missed the dig. (17-11). Ace by Rory Dunbar. Excellent serve. Like a coffin corner punt right there. She downed it at the 1. Rory Dunbar getting ready to serve again. She's got the hot hand. Putting it on him again. Lee Scott digs it out. Rory Dunbar with the set. What we called here, a double hit something of the sort. Point, Lee Scott. Number 13, Elliott Scott getting ready to serve for Lee Scott Academy out of Auburn. Rory Dunbar. Trying to play around that, get a net defense that Glenwood's so good at with the little touch shots around the net. There they go, hammering it home, but it's high. Point Glenwood, out again. Glenwood 19. Lee Scott Academy 12. Net ball, Hallie Palmore. Point Lee Scott. Subs rolling in on Lee Scott's side. Leighton Scott getting ready to serve for Lee Scott Academy. Good job digging that out by Emerson White. Excellent spike. Number 15, Avery Dunham. Glenwood a little bit too far off the net. Leighton Scott with the serve. Rory Dunbar all over the court. Malia Sanchez West with a dart. 20, Glenwood. 14, Lee Scott. Malia West Sanchez has been dangerous on that left side corner so far. Emerson White getting ready to serve. Rory Dunbar setting. Wow, what a play. Maddie Moody. Rory Dunbar to Maddie Moody. That's something you're going to hear a lot this season. Right on the white line. 21, Glenwood. 14, Lee Scott. Emerson White. Out. A little wide on the serve. Now it's Lee Scott's turn. Try and claw back in this first set. And here we go. Net ball, point Glenwood. Both these teams want this W. It means something to both of them. But it's all Glenwood early here. Missed the set. Lee Scott had to just dig it out. Malia West Sanchez with another rocket. Glenwood, Lee Scott somehow saves it. Rory Dunbar just getting it over, keep it alive. Excellent job by Hallie Palmore to save that. Excellent effort. Laid out on the hardwood. They are really, Lee Scott's really trying to attack the soft shot. Trying to attack the front of the net. Glenwood's keeping it alive, though. Excellent responses by them every time on this point so far. Rory Dunbar trying to just get it. Rory Dunbar with the point. Sent the little drop shot right back their way. 23, Glenwood. Up by 8 on Lee Scott right now. Net ball, make that 7. It's going to be Lee Scott serve. Lee Scott getting ready to serve. Out. A little long on the serve for Leighton Scott. I'm sorry, Lucy Huff with the serve. Claire Hargrove getting ready to serve for Glenwood. This game point, set 1. In. Ace to end it for Claire Hargrove. That is the end of game 1. We are going to take a quick commercial break on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Are you looking for a powerful new Chevrolet or GMC truck and a great deal? Check them out side by side at Glenn Smith in Opelika. Take your choice of new Chevrolet and GMC 1500 trucks discounted up to $12,000 off. Chevy and GMC heavy-duty trucks discounted up to $7,000 off. People from all over the USA save at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika, Alabama. Get ready to smile.
I'm always on the go. But with the Kinetic Credit Union app, Kinetic is always with me. The Kinetic mobile app is virtual banking at its best. With the Kinetic mobile app, I can easily send and receive money, make a deposit, pay some bills, and I can even open up a new account, all from my phone. And I can monitor all my accounts in one place, all on the go. The Kinetic mobile app, energized banking at its best.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
At Jack Houston Memorial Hospital, our focus is you. Even though we performed more than 1,300 joint replacements last year, we treat you like you are our only patient. Your surgeon explains your joint replacement, so nothing is a surprise. Our team knows your treatment plan, and we work together to get you back on your feet again. That's why our hospital is recognized year after year as a leader in patient satisfaction and quality of care. Jack Houston Memorial Hospital. Excellence, always.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.
All right, welcome back to the Georgia-Alabama Sports Live Zaxby's Glenwood Game of the Week as we enter game number 2. Glenwood took the first game 25-15. Excellent job by them. Excellent physicality at the front net. Rory Dunbar and Maddie Moody putting on a clinic. And we got the refs making sure everybody's locked in where they're supposed to be. Hope y'all are locked in with us on Georgia-Alabama Sports Live tonight and this weekend. A lot of football games tomorrow night. Packed slate. I'll be at Pacelli doing that game versus Stone Mountain. I know Russell County's got a home opener. It's going to be a fun weekend. And here we go. Lee Scott getting ready to kick this thing off. Rory Dunbar sending it up to the front. Glenwood going right back to that soft touch. It was working for him. Excellent defense at the net. Rory Dunbar and Peyton Slocum. Rory Dunbar, not quite enough height on the spike attempt. Sails it a little long. 1-0 Lee Scott. Looking at my producer, Tyler Dykes, right now. Tyler, I might have to stop by Zaxby's on my way home tonight. I mean, I'm starving right now. Good wings and things. Hot honey mustard would really do it to me right now. Something about that Texas toast from Zaxby's. It's hypnotizing. It's dangerous. Thank God it's not complimentary like Texas Roadhouse rolls or I'd be in trouble. Here we go, Glenwood with the serve. Glenwood with the point, dropping it right over the net. They were starting, last time I watched these Gators at Brookstone, they were starting to really figure out this drop shot thing. And they have really added it to their bag tonight. Rory Dunbar with the serve. Leighton Scott with the point for Lee Scott. She's having a great match so far. Leighton Scott getting ready to serve. Great serve right over the net. A little bit of miscommunication between Emerson White and Hallie Palmore. Point Lee Scott. Leighton Scott with the serve again. Rory Dunbar, she is all over the place, man. No, Emerson White not quite able to dig it out. She was center court. They really painted that coffin corner, back left corner of the court. Point, Lee Scott. 4-2 lead for Lee Scott. A little bit of miscommunication. Glenwood gets it over. They're going to call carry on that by Glenwood. Point Lee Scott. 5-2 Lee Scott to open this second set. Glenwood's really got to lock it back in. Out on Lee Scott's serve, just ever so wide. 5-3 Lee Scott. All right, let's see who's getting ready to serve. Hallie Palmore, she has some good serves. That's another one. She's really got some good action on that thing right after it hits the net. I mean, that thing loves to drop off. Lee Scott with the score attempt. Bang. Great job by Emma Barnes. Point Glenwood to bring it back to within one. Serves up by Hallie Palmore again. Good serve by Hallie Palmore. She really got some juice on it. Net ball. Point Glenwood. Bit of a miss hit there by Lee Scott. Hallie Palmore getting ready to serve again. Excellent serve. Once again, an ace by Hallie Palmore. She is serving them up. I mean, I'm telling you, folks, she hits the ball, looks like a ball. Gets over the net, looks like a rock. In by Lee Scott. Excellent job by number 15, Avery Dunham, senior. Serves over for Lee Scott. Hallie Palmore trying her best to save it. Emerson White with an incredible save. Glenwood still keeping it alive. Rory Dunbar just sending it over, making it Lee Scott's problem as Glenwood resets herself. Out on Lee Scott. Point Glenwood. Excellent rally that turn. I mean, that was pretty electric. Emerson White with an acrobatic dig out. Now she's serving it up. Glenwood takes the lead, 7-6, by the way. That's the third hit. It's going to be a point Glenwood. 8-6. Glenwood storm back, take the lead in this second match. Emerson White getting ready to serve again. Net just a bit low. Out on Glenwood. Power's there on both sides. I think they need to rein it in just a little bit. Got to get that ball to die out a little bit. And look a little heavier than it is. Rory Dunbar with a dig. I mean, she is the solid rock of this team. Maddie Moody with great net defense. 9-8 Glenwood. Excellent rally so far. Rory Dunbar, beautiful set. What a save by Lee Scott to keep it alive. Malia West Sanchez with a dig. Rory Dunbar sending it right over. Lee Scott a little bit out of position, but they're able to get it back. Rory Dunbar again. What a drop shot. Maddie Moody. I mean, these drop shots are getting me excited. I mean, this is like, it's like a good speed to power edge rusher there. The windup is vicious, but the release is soft. Excellent job by Leighton Scott again with the point. I don't have the stats in front of me, folks, but Leighton Scott has been responsible for a majority of Lee Scott's points tonight. Net. Glenwood ball, Glenwood point. 11-9 Glenwood. Got some subs. Malia West Sanchez checking out of the game. Number 7, Carson Barker coming in to serve. Glenwood's going to try to add to this lead. It's over. Great serve by Carson Barker right in the dead spot. Number 5, Lucy Huff for Lee Scott Academy just couldn't get quite to it. Great serve. Lee Scott keeps it alive. Leighton Scott with a powerful spike, but Rory Dunbar is able to dig it back out. Leighton Scott with the set. She's getting ready to go again. Rory Dunbar's always there. Hallie Palmore. Leighton Scott. I mean, there's just power coming on. You can hear it when she hits the ball. Point Glenwood, though. It doesn't matter. Rory Dunbar, an absolute brick wall. 13 Glenwood, 9 Warriors. Great serve by Glenwood. Right in the dead zone again. Carson Barker's back at it. Another great one. Lee Scott with power there, but just a bit outside. 14 Glenwood, 9 Lee Scott. Having a hard time finding that back line tonight on both sides. Excellent instincts by Rory Dunbar just to send that thing over. The dig was a little wild, a little high, hung in the air for a bit too long as it just eclipsed the Glenwood side of the net. Point Glenwood. Rory Dunbar got it up and over, got it over to Hallie Palmore. She got it right over the net defender's arms for another point Glenwood. They are making easy work of these two sets so far. Good rally going so far here. Rory Dunbar with the fake set just pushes it right over the net, right into the dead spot. She is playing mind games tonight. out on Glenwood. Errant set attempt by Claire Hargrove. Lee Scott getting ready to serve. 18-10 Glenwood. Rory Dunbar. Rory Dunbar is doing it again. Maddie Moody, excellent net defense. Glenwood putting on a show. Up by 9. Katie Corbett with the serve. Net, bottom of the net. Really tough for number 13 for Lee Scott. Elliott Scott to play that off. Point Glenwood. Katie Corbett again. Great serve that time. Oh, they finally got one back on Maddie Moody. Avery Dunham. Nice little shot. Rory Dunbar had no chance to dig it out. Point Lee Scott. Lee Scott serving. It's 22-11. Glenwood still up by 9. Hallie Palmore. Miss hit on the spike attempt. Point Glenwood. Glenwood's net defenders were ready regardless. But Glenwood increases the lead to 10. 21 Glenwood, 11 Lee Scott. Rory Dunbar with the serve. Sent it in hot. They couldn't quite dig it out. But my goodness. Avery Dunham again with an absolute rocket. Point Lee Scott. Leighton Scott getting ready to serve. Is that Maddie Moody? No, Maddie Moody's checked out. Number 10, point Lee Scott for a double touch. 21-13 Glenwood. Lee Scott trying to close it back in. Rory Dunbar with the set. Lee Scott keeps it alive. Rory Dunbar with the dig. Emerson White setting it up to Hallie. Net defenders for Lee Scott were ready. Great job by Hallie Palmore. 2 net defenders right in front of her. It's a little teardrop. Shades of Kobe with the teardrop shot over the defenders. 22 Glenwood, 13 Lee Scott. Interference off the basketball goal. It hit the goal. 13 Lee Scott. All right, this is a best of 3, so we could have game point coming up here soon. Hallie Palmore trying to set. She lost her balance a little bit. Set not quite as high as Glenwood needed it. Point Lee Scott. Serve by Lee Scott. Too far. All right, got 24-14. This could very well be game point. Emerson White with the serve. Lee Scott a little wide, a little strong with the dig, but they save it. Rory Dunbar. Good rally growing here. Leighton Scott with the point. Glenwood off the fingertips of a Glenwood defender. Leighton Scott with another point. Excellent performance by her tonight. Lee Scott getting ready to serve. Wow. Great serve, great spin, great movement. No clear line of sight when the ball just peeks right over the net like that. Rory Dunbar setting. Maddie Moody with the touch. Point Glenwood. And we're going to take a quick commercial break on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Are you looking for a powerful new Chevrolet or GMC truck and a great deal? Check them out side by side at Glenn Smith in Opelika. Take your choice of new Chevrolet and GMC 1500 trucks discounted up to $12,000 off. Chevy and GMC heavy-duty trucks discounted up to $7,000 off. People from all over the USA save at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika, Alabama. Get ready to smile.
I'm always on the go. But with the Kinetic Credit Union app, Kinetic is always with me. The Kinetic mobile app is virtual banking at its best. With the Kinetic mobile app, I can easily send and receive money, make a deposit, pay some bills, and I can even open up a new account, all from my phone. And I can monitor all my accounts in one place, all on the go. The Kinetic mobile app, energized banking at its best.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
At Jack Houston Memorial Hospital, our focus is you. Even though we performed more than 1,300 joint replacements last year, we treat you like you are our only patient. Your surgeon explains your joint replacement, so nothing is a surprise. Our team knows your treatment plan, and we work together to get you back on your feet again. That's why our hospital is recognized year after year as a leader in patient satisfaction and quality of care. Jack Houston Memorial Hospital. Excellence, always.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.
All right, welcome back to Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Zaxby's Glenwood Game of the Week. Glenwood up 2 games to Lee Scott's nothing. Best 3 out of 5 match tonight. So this very well could be the clinching game for Glenwood. So they get ready to serve. Rory Dunbar, excellent serve. Lee Scott can't do anything with it. Great start to what could be the final game. Make sure you guys stay tuned for the Alex Quinney All-State Player of the Game coming up. So we get a Glenwood serve. Lee Scott in. Point Lee Scott. That's Avery Dunham again. Lee Scott with the serve. Rory Dunbar. D got a little out, but she's able to save it. She's running for it. Good save. Hallie Palmore gets it up and over. And in. Miscommunication on Lee Scott. Nobody willing to take the dive to save that one. Hallie Palmore getting ready to serve for this Glenwood team. Excellent showing tonight by Glenwood. They are motivated to take home this win and this rivalry. Double touch, point Lee Scott. Another saying she carried. Either way, ties it back up at 2. Lee Scott subs in. Some fresh bodies. Here we go. Great serve by Leighton Scott. Emerson White with the dig, able to save it. Rory Dunbar, miss hit. by Emma Barnes. Point Lee Scott. Lee Scott takes the lead, 3-2. Lee Scott with the serve again. Ace on the serve. Point Lee Scott. I'm sure Lee Scott would love to take this middle game here. Nobody wants to take that ride back down 280 with a goose egg. So they get a point there. 5-2, Lee Scott Academy. Great job by Hallie Palmer digging that out. Miscommunication between Emerson White and Malia West Sanchez. Couldn't dig it quite over the net. Both trying to hit it at the same time. Leighton Scott getting ready to serve again. She served a few points so far tonight. Excellent job. And for Lee Scott, she's got some verticality to her game. Able to clear the net and throw one down. Lee Scott with the serve flat. Dig out by Hallie Palmer. Out on Glenwood. Going to take a timeout, and we're going to take a quick commercial break on Georgia-Alabama Sports Live.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite. Obey your...
And we're back for the Zaxby's Glenwood Game of the Week on Georgia-Alabama Sports Live. Rory Dunbar setting it up for Glenwood. Lee Scott able to dig it out of the hole. Another close miscommunication between Glenwood, but they get the point anyway. Glenwood 3, Lee Scott 8. Lee Scott coming out aggressive in this third do-or-die game for them. Emerson White getting ready to serve. The dig, a little too strong, right back over to Glenwood. Point Glenwood, Maddie Moody threw it down. Rory Dunbar threw her the alley. And she windmilled it. Emerson White getting ready to serve again. Down by 4. Out just barely. Point Lee Scott brings her lead up to 5. Lee Scott looking like they're settling in here to this third game. Good serve. Rory Dunbar. Set was perfect to Malia West Sanchez. Excellent point by Glenwood. Excellent setup by Rory Dunbar. 5-9. Lee Scott in the lead. Glenwood would love to close this thing out on this game. Hargrove with the serve. Leighton Scott from the back. Glenwood saves it. Glenwood able to keep it alive. Just out. That was a close one. Point Lee Scott, though. 5-10. Lee Scott. Scott getting ready to serve. Good dig by Hargrove. Rory Dunbar Getting it over to Malia West Sanchez, but she hits the net. (11-5). Lee Scott. What a job by Rory Dunbar finding. Uh-oh. Maddie Moody with the stuff. Maddie Moody made him pay. Hargrove with the set. Maddie Moody again. Lee Scott able to save it. Excellent job just dropping it right over by Lee Scott for that point. Back up by 5, 12-7 Lee Scott. Number 11 for Lee Scott. Jody Fuller getting ready to serve. Good serve. But Glenwood able to corral it. She's on fire in this third game. Lee Scott getting ready to serve. Riverstone White to dig. Hallie Palmore. Point Lee Scott. Just a bit outside by Palmore for Lee Scott Academy. Excellent job by Hallie Palmore. Lee Scott missed time to jump. Hallie Palmore made him pay with the little touch shot. 14 Lee Scott, 8 Glenwood. Glenwood trying to claw their way back in this game and close it out. Leighton Scott. Point Lee Scott. I mean, that was an excellent spike. Talk about the action and movement that thing had on it. Lee Scott with the serve. Sky ball over to Hallie Palmore. She's able to dig it down the left side of the court for a point. Lead shrinks to 6 for Lee Scott. It's Glenwood. Tries to get back within striking distance here. And they get another point. Rory Dunbar with an ace. She gets ready to serve point again. It's over. Too hot to handle by Rory Dunbar. Another ace served up. She is putting some mustard on these. And another one. That a little bit too much zip on that one for Rory Dunbar. Point Lee Scott. Lead at 5, 16-11. Lee Scott getting ready to serve. Very good serve. Rory Dunbar, a rock in the center of this formation. Bring it to within 4. So we get subs rotated in here. Hallie Palmore with the serve. Leighton Scott with the rocket. And that's going to be point Lee Scott. Too hot to handle for Glenwood. Leighton Scott with another one. 17 Lee Scott. 12 Glenwood. Serve. Dig by Emerson White. Rory Dunbar with the set. Malia West Sanchez with a rocket. Rory Dunbar sets her up again. Great dig by number 1 for Lee Scott. Twice in a row she's had to dig it out of the hole there. Rory Dunbar setting it up that time to Emma Barnes for the point. 13 Glenwood, 17 Lee Scott Academy. Glenwood trying to claw back in this third game and close it out as point Glenwood 14, Glenwood 17. Lee Scott. Emerson White getting ready to serve again. Good serve. Right on the net. A little too hot for Lee Scott. They still got the point on that. Either way, 18. Lee Scott, 14 Glenwood. Allie Palmore with the dig. Malia West Sanchez with a beautiful spike. They try to dig it out, but that ball might be in Russell County right now. Some people call where we're at Phoenix City. Some people call it miscommunication between Hargrove and land there. Great job by Hargrove. Saving that. Wow. Good rally going. Great job by Malik. Out the way. Glenwood's play ball. The higher vert you can got. That puts them up.
At Jack Houston Memorial Hospital, our focus is you. Our focus is you. Even though we performed more than 1,300 joint replacements last year, we treat you like you are our only patient. Your surgeon explains your joint replacement, so nothing is a surprise. Our team knows your treatment plan, and we work together to get you back on your feet again. That's why Jack Houston Memorial Hospital. Excellence, always. Jack Houston Memorial Hospital. Excellence, always.
Welcome back to the Zaxby's Glenwood Game of the Week, brought to you by Georgia Alabama Sports. Over. Got off. No. 16 Glenwood. It's Glenwood trying to get back in this thing and end this whole match. Point Rory Dunbar. Speaking of Rory Dunbar, I mean, I don't know how this thing's going to play out, but do stay tuned for the Alex Quinney All-State Player of the Game. She's been an excellent candidate for that award so far. And don't forget our sponsors, Coca-Cola, Houston Clinic, Glenn Smith Chevrolet, and Kinetic Credit Union. As we got a little bit of a rally building. Rory Dunbar, deceptive with the fake set. Point Glenwood. 18 Glenwood, 22 Lee Scott. It is getting down to it, folks. Allie Palmore with the spur in this last 10 or 15 minutes, just clawing their way back in this thing to try to send Lee Scott home with that goose egg. Point Lee Scott. Somebody on Glenwood got their hands on it, kind of filtered through and dribbled onto the court. It's getting close to the end here for Glenwood. They got to get some points quick here if they want to stay in this one. Rory Dunbar with the set. Excellent point by Peyton Slocum. Maybe the first point she's recorded tonight. Excellent job by her. Lee Scott got a hand on it. Not quite enough of a hand, though. Great serve by Rory Dunbar. She really put something on that. Ooh, Lee Scott just jammed it over the net and a little bit of a short spike. This is game point for Lee Scott. Glenwood down by 5. They need a miracle to get out of this game 3 with the W. Everybody gets back in position on Glenwood side. Net ball. Miss hit by late. Glenwood 24, still by 2. That was illegal touch by Glenwood. We'll be right back on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Are you looking for a powerful new Chevrolet, or take your choice of new Chevrolet and GMC 1500 trucks discounted up to $12,000 off? Chevy and GMC heavy-duty trucks discounted up to $7,000 off. People from all over the USA save at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika, Alabama. Get ready to smile.
I'm always on the go. But with the Kinetic Credit Union app, Kinetic is always with me. The Kinetic mobile app is virtual banking at its best. With the Kinetic mobile app, I can easily send and receive money, make a deposit, pay some bills, and I can even open up a new account, all from my phone. And I can monitor all my accounts in one place, all on the go. The Kinetic mobile app, energized banking at its best.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
At Jack Houston Memorial Hospital, our focus is you. Even though we performed more than 1,300 joint replacements last year, we treat you like you are our only patient. Your surgeon explains your joint replacement, so nothing is a surprise. Our team knows your treatment plan, and we work together to get you back on your feet again. That's why our hospital is recognized year after year as a leader in patient satisfaction and quality of care. Jack Houston Memorial Hospital. Excellence, always.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.
All right, welcome back. Glenwood not able to close out Game 3 of this Zaxby's Glenwood game of the week. So we go to Game 4, a best 3 out of 5 series. Glenwood up 2-1. Valiant comeback effort in the last game, but fell just a little short. Glenwood looking to close this thing out and not let Lee Scott tie it back up 2-2. We're getting ready for action on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Here we go. Lee Scott with the serve. Hallie Palmore, excellent drop shot. She's done a great job on that left side of the net tonight. Rory Dunbar, excellent serve. She's an excellent server. So much spin when she lets that thing go. Point Glenwood, 1-1. She's going to go at it again. Rory. Rory doing her all, laying out, trying to save that one. Couldn't quite get it, though. Chicken winged it a little bit. Got 2-1 on the board. Excellent job by Lee Scott that time. It's Leighton Scott gets ready to serve. Excellent serve. Rory Dunbar with the set. Too hot to handle for Leighton. Point Glenwood, 3-2. Hallie Palmore getting ready to serve. She's like a good, I mean, it seems like every time she's come to serve, she's aced a couple times. She's like a knuckleballer up here on the serve. I mean, just a little weird coming out of her hand. You can't really tell where it's going, what it's doing, and it is giving Lee Scott some problems. She digged that one out on her chest. Out on Lee Scott. Point Glenwood. 5-2 Glenwood. Glenwood taking the early lead this time. Seems like they're all business for this game 4. Net ball. Went out, though. Point Lee Scott. That one was right on the line. Lee Scott getting ready to serve. Emerson White, good dig out. Great point by Glenwood. Rory Dunbar with the kind of flat set over to the bottoms left of the net. Glenwood able to just poke it through. Point Glenwood. Point Lee Scott with the bad serve. 6-4 right now. You got to feel Glenwood wants to build on this lead. Feel a little bit more comfortable heading into the late stages of this game 4. Do or die game for Lee Scott. Excellent job by Maddie Moody. Lee Scott somehow keeps that alive. There was bodies everywhere over there. Number 6, Emma Barnes. Cross court spike. All the way in the back corner. Point Glenwood. Hargrove serving it up. Out. Point Lee Scott. Serve bounces off the net. Nobody there for Glenwood to dig it out. Out of position. Point Lee Scott. Lead dwindles to 1. Rory Dunbar. Malia West Sanchez. Ballistic missile. She let that thing go. Probably left a mark on the hardwood. Point Glenwood. Good job with the serve, jamming Lee Scott up. Point Glenwood. Carson Barker with that serve. Excellent job. Serve too hot to handle again for Lee Scott. Try to dig it out the hole. But it's kind of like when you're digging with a shovel that's too small. Some Barker again. Really putting it on him about chest height, making it hard for those diggers to dig it out. But Lee Scott gets it done. Leighton Scott with another point. Net ball just a little unsure on the serve there by number 7 for Lee Scott, Olivia Gibson. Point Glenwood. Number 14, Katie Corbett gets ready to serve. Good serve. They are really, Lee Scott really struggling this game with their digs. The serves are kind of getting in on them too hot. And they're digging it right back at the net, making it hard to set up the score attempt. Great awareness by Claire Hargrove. And over the top. I'm sorry, that was not Claire. That was Peyton Slocum, and we're going to take a quick break on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
All right, folks, we are back for this Zaxby's Glenwood game of the week on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Glenwood serving it up 13-7 in this elimination game. Best 3 out of 5. Glenwood up 2-1 with the point there, adding to their lead, up by 7 right now. Another point for Glenwood. Serve too hot to handle. It's been a running theme so far. I'm sure Lee Scott would love to climb back into this and force a game 5. As they dig it out. Dunham with the spike attempt. Glenwood defended excellently. Dunham again, too hot this time. Point Lee Scott. 15-8. Glenwood. Elliott Scott getting ready to serve. Net. Point Glenwood. Great serve by Dunbar. Got an over the net call. Yeah, I'm not sure what the call is there, but they're going to give a point to Lee Scott. Lee Scott getting ready to serve. Leighton Scott into the net. First bad serve she's had all night. Allie Palmore serving it up. Lee Scott able to dig it out. Dunham. Emerson White setting it back up. Malia West Sanchez. Excellent job with the little pump fake. Lead grows to 9. 18-9 Glenwood as they try to close this thing out. Leighton Scott, I mean, she's got a rocket on her. But Glenwood able to defend it that time. Not this time, though. Lost in the mix. Point Lee Scott. Lee Scott with the serve. Emerson White, good dig out. Too short on the drop shot. This is the top of the net. Point Lee Scott. Slocum trying to get it over. Looks like they're trying to work that back corner back to Malia West Sanchez again. See if they can get it done this time. Ooh. Up and over and into the net by Lee Scott. Couldn't dig it out. Hits the top of the net. Rejected. Point Glenwood. Emerson White getting ready to serve. That's in. That was a great serve. Great ace by Emerson White. No play to be made on it by Lee Scott. Glenwood 20. Lee Scott 11. Another point by Glenwood. Excellent job. That ball came flying for us over here at the video table. And we're going to take a quick commercial break on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
I'm always on the go. But with the Kinetic Credit Union app, Kinetic is always with me. The Kinetic mobile app is virtual banking at its best. With the Kinetic mobile app, I can easily send and receive money, make a deposit, pay some bills, and I can even open up a new account, all from my phone. And I can monitor all my accounts in one place, all on the go. The Kinetic mobile app, energized banking at its best.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy.
All right, here we go. Glenwood trying to close this Zaxby's Glenwood Game of the Week out against Lee Scott. Excellent net defense by Maddie Moody and Emma Barnes. 21-12 Glenwood. Don't forget, we got the Alex Quinney Player of the Game coming up in just a second. Also, just want to mention our sponsors one more time. So grateful for Coca-Cola, Houston Clinic, Glenn Smith Chevrolet, and Kinetic Credit Union. Malia West Sanchez with an excellent point for Glenwood. She's been deadly from that corner. Got some subs rolling in for Glenwood as they try to close this thing out. Hargrove getting ready to serve. She's had herself a pretty good game, too. I'll tell you what, Glenwood does a really good job of spreading the wealth here. Everybody plays their part. Ace for Hargrove right over the top of the net. 23 Glenwood, 12 Lee Scott. Closing in on game point. Claire Hargrove with the serve. Lee Scott touched it. It would have went out of bounds. But point Glenwood bringing us to game point here. Go ahead and give you the Alex Quinney All-State Player of the Game. Rory Dunbar, number 15, all over. Solid rock in the middle as a setter. Excellent job every time it was her turn to serve. And every time she said she gives it to her teammates in the perfect position to score a point. Shout out Rory Dunbar. Excellent job by her tonight. As Glenwood gets ready to close this thing out, 24-13, game point Glenwood. Not too much pressure on them to close it out. They have a big lead, and that's it. Glenwood's going to close it out. They win the match 24-13. They take this match 3-1. As we come to a close, the Zaxby's Glenwood Game of the Week on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, brought to you by Coca-Cola, Houston Clinic, Kinetic Credit Union, and Glenn Smith Chevrolet. For my producer, Tyler Dykes, I'm Austin Allen, signing off. We'll see you next time.
Are you looking for a powerful new Chevrolet or GMC truck and a great deal? Check them out side by side at Glenn Smith in Opelika. Take your choice of new Chevrolet and GMC 1500 trucks discounted up to $12,000 off. Chevy and GMC heavy-duty trucks discounted up to $7,000 off. People from all over the USA save at Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika, Alabama. Get ready to smile.
I'm always on the go. But with the Kinetic Credit Union app, Kinetic is always with me. The Kinetic mobile app is virtual banking at its best. With the Kinetic mobile app, I can easily send and receive money, make a deposit, pay some bills, and I can even open up a new account, all from my phone. And I can monitor all my accounts in one place, all on the go. The Kinetic mobile app, energized banking at its best.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
At Jack Houston Memorial Hospital, our focus is you. Even though we performed more than 1,300 joint replacements last year, we treat you like you are our only patient. Your surgeon explains your joint replacement, so nothing is a surprise. Our team knows your treatment plan, and we work together to get you back on your feet again. That's why our hospital is recognized year after year as a leader in patient satisfaction and quality of care. Jack Houston Memorial Hospital. Excellence, always.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. Sprite, obey your thirst.